So this is just a reiteration that according to Gallup's most recent analysis, that majority of Americans identify as independent. Something like 42% of Americans identify as independent, while 29% of Americans identify as Democrat and 26% of Americans identify as Republican. Majority of Americans don't buy in to the bipartisan binary. Their registration is an indication of that. We need to stop listening to mainstream media polls. We found out that CNN they leave out people ages 18 to 35, which is a huge number and a vast majority of people who were very involved this election. Bernie Sanders raised over $200 million for his campaign, and he did it off of being publicly funded, not allowing any super PACs help him raise money. He was a real adversary against the status quo, and he did it just using regular people's donations. He took, the average was $27. A lot of that came from low-income families. The word about him spread regardless of the lack of mainstream media coverage, because everyday people from all over the country who otherwise weren't involved politically, myself included, decided to wake up and caucus, canvass, rally, vote. After he lost California, I went to the LA County Registrar of Voters and went to go observe ballot counting because I knew something was up. And when I showed up, there were a group of people that also showed up that also knew something was up. I went to Philly, and thousands of people were there for Bernie. I was there for a few days, and with my camera, I walked through the crowds. It was like a sea of people all there for Bernie, every last person. I got so much footage of people, everyone chanting, "Bernie beats Trump." I went to 3 of Bernie's rallies. He told us that he was beating Trump by double digits in the polls, and he was. On a statewide and nationwide average, he was beating Trump. He had a real strong case for a contested election. 2 million people, something like that, sued the DNC. There was talks of voter purging and register changing and whiting out of ballots and the shredding of ballots in many states, long lines, and it's like, how do you ignore that many people? The pictures. You look at the pictures of Bernie's rallies and the pictures of Hillary rallies, and you'll see the staunch difference. Hillary can't even fill up a high school stadium. Bernie, on the other hand, is filling out stadiums. Did I say stadium for Hillary? I meant gymnasium. Hillary can't fill up a gymnasium. Bernie is filling up stadiums. The first Bernie rally I went to was in Irvine, California, which is predominantly upper class, white, Orange County, California, just Republican area. And he had everyone show up for him at the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater. It was like a concert. It was amazing. People were pouring in to see him for hours. And thousands of people chanting, "Bernie or bust," He didn't even have mainstream media, but he had a strong campaign until the very end when he motioned. He just made the motion for Hillary to have the nomination, but he never conceded. He was the longest standing independent senator, and he had a following even before he decided to run. With the emergence of social media the way it is, with the quickness and the spread of information overnight, and the organizing online, and the ideas that can turn into, you can change a person's world by leaving a comment nowadays. It's not the same playing field as previous elections. And anyone that compares this election to previous elections is just really in the dark. You can't compare Jill Stein to Ralph Nader. He was 16 years ago. Anyone who appreciated Bernie's platform has to be aware of, or would at least appreciate, Jill Stein's platform, because it's the exact same platform, except it takes a step further toward progressivism. And so I just don't believe, anytime I hear people say that Jill Stein doesn't have a chance of winning, I don't believe them. Who are they to think that they can predict this election based off of previous elections? Because mass propaganda and US media is telling them so? Don't listen to them. Vote who you feel is the best. Bernie made it far, and just turn off your TV. It's not there for you. Independents don't think in the bipartisan binary, and independents are the majority right now. Look it up. We have a real chance at taking our democracy back. A lot of people are awake. Mainstream media will report on corners of the world where people aren't necessarily awake, or they'll take something out of context to highlight that average Americans are stupid. But the truth is that the American people know what's going on. We're keenly aware of the crisis we're in and experiencing firsthand. Pundits don't realize that because they're privileged and they make money and they are completely out of touch with the reality of people. And a lot of them work for these big corporate stations, and they're all in bed with the Clinton campaign, and we know this. I just think that now's the time to go against what the big guys are telling you, because they haven't had our best interest before. So just keep that in mind, and please spread the word and question everything, investigate, look things up. Don't go to mainstream publications as quickly. Go to counterculture news. It's your best bet.